Peace to you. My name is Reverend Dr. Masia Evans, and I welcome you to First United Methodist Church, here in the heart of bustling Midtown Sacramento. We are an inclusive community that values justice and always seeks to practice love first. I pray that this message will be meaningful to you.
Thanks, Roseanne, for that reading, and thanks, dear indulgent community. Notwithstanding Reverend Masia's commendations, I am grateful you are willing to hear me share how I wrestled with today's text, which came from the lectionary, although it was a little buried in the lectionary. But first, a prayer. Holy life giver, doctor of the desperate, healer of everyone broken past hope, medicine for all wounds, light giver, sound of joy, wonder of being alive, hope of every person, you are our strongest good. Hallelujah. That's an abridged version of this prayer, and I want to thank Kevin, I thought I saw him somewhere, for that, because it has helped inform my engagement with this text a lot in the last couple of weeks. So Habakkuk, or Habakkuk, I'm probably going to go back and forth. By show of hands, how many other people are kind of hearing that this is a book in the Bible for the first time? When I saw it in the lectionary, that's what made me read it. But then once I read it, I felt it in my body. O Lord, how long shall we cry for help, and you will not listen? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you make us see wrongdoing and look at trouble? Destruction and violence are before us. Strife and contention arise. So the law becomes slack, and justice never prevails. The wicked surround the righteous, therefore justice comes forth perverted. Right? In this week's news, mass civilian homicides, acts of war by first world militarized nations against unrecognized ones, mass shootings everywhere, elementary schools, grocery stores, and cinemas are not places of safety. Concerts, sporting events, and tourist sites are not places of safety. Churches, synagogues, and temples are not places of safety. Immigrants are assumed to be criminals and deported without due process. Political stalemates guarantee lost public services to our most vulnerable. People who've been elected to uphold the Constitution vilify, demean, and scapegoat people because of who they love and because of the experience God gave them in their bodies. Decisions from our highest courts eroding the protections of law against the abuses of powerful people. This brings to mind for me the 1976 movie about TV news, among other things, called Network. Habakkuk's first verses, or my litany, are like one that Howard Beale delivers. He's a TV news anchorman, and he is troubled by his times. And after his angry list of the ways society is failing, he announces, "We all know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. So I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window and stick your head out and yell, 'I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.'" Which so captured the spirit of his age that in the movie, all across the country, people throw open their windows and they lean out and yell as he has suggested that they do. It's really cathartic, and you can see it as a clip on YouTube if you look it up. You know, Habakkuk seems to start from the same place. During his time, which was the late 7th century BC, the kingdom of Judah was failing and falling, and the Babylonian Empire was flourishing. Habakkuk's oracle in 3 short chapters starts with his furious address about the growing list of injustices, inequities, and corruption. He appeals to the power beyond all other powers, hope of every person, our strongest good. Beyond its ability to address our time as though it were written for our time, which must have been an experience across the ages when this book has been read, this book of Habakkuk is a promise. God is in conversation with humanity. What makes Habakkuk's mad as hell moment different is his trust that he is in conversation with God. After his tirade about the apparent absence of God, he says he knows God will answer his complaint. He goes to the watchtower, stands at the rampart, and waits with complete confidence in God's response. That's a special kind of confidence. It's like the oldest use of this word, which once primarily meant full reliance in the goodwill of another. Today, we use this word to mean trust in our own reliability. If we say someone is confident, we're basically saying that person really believes in him or her or their self. But Habakkuk's confidence is in God, not in Habakkuk. Despite seemingly contradictory evidence presented by the times he lives in, Habakkuk knows he will receive an answer because he has complete reliance in God as good. You could say he has God-fidence. I didn't make this up myself. I stole it from someplace else. But God-fidence, complete reliance in God as good, God as trustworthy, God, as Hildegard says, our strongest good. Habakkuk epitomizes God-fidence. And God does answer Habakkuk. God says, write the vision, make it plain so that a runner can read it. I've seen this somewhere. These are pictures I took while running, or actually biking, by this very building, where we announce quite plainly our understanding of the vision. I particularly love this quotation, and that we feature it so prominently. Another favorite Wesley quotation for me is, "The gospel of Christ knows no religion but social, no holiness but social holiness." This is often interpreted as a call for social justice, and it might also be that. But it also speaks to Wesley's insight about the necessity of community for spiritual life, for living into God's vision as a people. We know the vision. We speak it in the Lord's Prayer. Here at First, we paraphrase it as love first. A 3rd century rabbi also cited Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4 as a summary of all of God's commandments. We heard it earlier in the New Updated Revised Standard Translation. Here it is from the Message. Look at that man, bloated by self-importance, full of himself, but soul empty. But the person in right standing before God, through loyal and steadfast believing, is fully alive, really alive. Godfidence, not confidence, is how we achieve right standing with God. But it's not easy to have Godfidence all of the time in this world. God even as much as admits this to Habakkuk. For there is still a vision for the appointed time, and it speaks of the end, and it does not lie. If it seems to tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. For this kind of patience, for this kind of Godfidence, I need social holiness. To witness alongside others that faith working by love is the gospel of Christ. By myself, I just get mad as hell from fear and despair. But in our community, committed to love first, demonstrated in our respite services for our neighborhood, joy in our passing of the peace, hopes we share for each other in this world, whether spoken aloud, held in prayer, or sung aloud together, we have our hearts inclined toward each other and to our neighbors and to the stranger. This community is what Dan and I will make our pledge to, which is coming up soon. This foretaste of kingdom has the power to restore Godfidence. This month, we celebrate the 100th anniversary of this church at this spot. That's a lot of generations of people finding and supporting each other's Godfidence in love first as the path. This may or may not be the bleakest hour yet in human history, but what hasn't changed in millennia, and certainly not in the last century, is that to be in right standing with God, we are called to the path Jesus walked ahead of us, to love first with Godfidence, which is part of how we create the safety together that we each need to sustain Godfidence. On that note, I'm going to wrap up with a simple parable about how loving first builds Godfidence. There were once 2 tables set for a feast, piled high with the most delicious foods imaginable. At each table sat a group of strangers across from each other, noses full of mouth-watering aromas, eyes lingering on each dish of the sumptuous display of food in front of them. And each person had only one spoon, and each spoon had a 4-foot handle. The first table was bereft, confused, furious even. No matter how they tried, they could not get the food into their mouths. The banquet felt like a cruel trick. All this promise, the vision of a heavenly meal, denied. At the second table, it took one question for the entire group to recognize and experience heaven on earth in a meal. The question was, may I feed you? By feeding each other, each received not only their own fill of food, but the full blessing offered by the banquet. which anyone with God-fidence could see had always been its intention. In these times that tempt some of us to be mad as hell, may we be the ones who demonstrate love first. May we be the ones who trust in God's vision. And may we be the ones who sustain for each other and strangers the stamina for Godfidence. When on our own we are without hope, but together we share the sure presence of love, the holy life giver, the source of our strongest good. To this, let's open our windows to shout, Amen.
Thank you for watching. To get further connected, you can always join us in person at one of our weekly worship services, which meets every Sunday at 10 a.m. here at 2100 J Street, Midtown Sacramento. Or for more information, you can click on one of the provided links, which is also posted in the description. Thank you for being a part of this community. And always remember, put love first. Peace.